back of the hand shit, you know?
Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 838 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I'm joined today by two giggling friends. I have Chris DeBona.
Hello.
And Rob Risbom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, hello. It's a lovely Tuesday, and although we haven't all seen it yet, Kong times Godzilla is on digital services now, so everything's different.
That's pretty cool.
We're going to segment our lives into the time before and after Kong times Godzilla. I watched it last night with my wife, and there are so many shots in this movie that were like, a 12-year-old wrote this, and I'm so happy. Let's see here. We don't have that much on the list because we live in a boring week. But let's see here. We have, the FCC has finally closed, or they've changed the thing with the.
They closed.
They closed. There's no more FCC now.
No more FCC?
Well, I know.
Go figure.
They're going to be replaced by FCC Pro. It's just going to require a subscription fee. It's $7.99 a month. But it's okay because
the FCC of them.
Yeah, because the App Store gets 80% of your money.
So just enough.
Yeah, just enough to get by. We want to make sure those oligarchs are doing okay. So yeah, the FCC is they are now prohibiting Fastlanes, and this is a follow up to the ongoing, decades long saga of will the internet be worse by allowing the oligarchs to throttle their rival monopoly bandwidth requiring services, because in the future,
yes. And who will bring it to you? AT&T.
I'd say Google, but they own a lot of fiber. Everybody will throttle everybody else, and then everybody will blame. Honestly, it's Comcast that I think would be the problem, because they own so many stations. They own so much broadcast,
and they're terrible.
And they're not great. They're not great. Did you guys get to see any of the Northern Lights?
I was really sleepy, so I missed it, but my kid got some great shots.
I looked, but it was too cloudy here to see anything.
How about you, Rob?
I didn't get to see it. The first night I just fell asleep, and then the second night it was too cloudy.
Well, also you can't see the Northern Lights from orbit, so
that's true.
I don't know what you expect of us
from our pretend low Earth orbit. I forgot about the premise.
I mean,
I went out to the executive mezzanine and just nothing but space junk like usual.
They gotta stop
Starlink after Starlink.
Gotta stop testing their nuclear missiles.
Yeah.
We got some TV show things. Orphan Black is gonna get a follow-up series.
Yeah.
Kristen Ritter, who I like.
Sure.
She's fine. She's been in a few things.
You mean like fine or fine?
No.
She's actually quite a good actor.
She is, but so I've seen her in a few interviews, and she's not smart.
You need her to be smart?
No, but it kind of makes...
So long as listen, Dancing Monkeys, okay?
That's true.
I don't actually want to know that much about Dancing Monkeys. Like, knowing what I know about Robert Davi actually makes previous movies with Robert Davi worse.
Oh, that's fair.
Because he's such a troll.
That's
right?
Fair. The show's going to be set in the year 2052. That means that it's the clone Tatiana Maslany's daughter, I guess, will be now all grown up. And that's going to be the premise. So who knows?
So she plays the daughter of Tatiana Maslany?
Kristen Ritter will be Tatiana Maslany's daughter, but grown up.
Interesting.
Because it's...
Yeah, because if you watch the trailer, it's not clones straight across the board. It's, at least not yet, it's different ages of the same clone.
Oh.
Is the vibe.
That's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Especially since not many people can Tatiana Maslany.
Ain't that the truth? Jesus.
She was so good.
Yeah.
In Orphan Black.
That show was her skill, and then also that was right in the era where they could do the motion control multicam thing. on a TV show set and like not like that was only barely technically practical. And now that sort of thing would just be like whatever you do with your cell phone.
Yeah, and AI will do it for you.
Speaking of casting, Sigourney Weaver is apparently in the rumors to be in the Mandalorian Grogu movie, which then will mean she will be in Avatar, Aliens, and Star Wars, which means the only thing that she really hasn't been in maybe is like Star Trek or Predator.
I was gonna say, has she never been in like just even a episode of Next Generation or one of the other TV shows?
It seems like she would have had to have been in something, but
yeah.
I'm typing and finding out. Well, she was in Galaxy Quest,
right,
which isn't Star Trek, right? So,
but like, you know, it's the one that people like jokingly refer to as the 5th Trek movie.
It's such a good movie.
It is a great movie. I loves it.
It's better than most Trek movies.
It for sure is better than most Trek
movies.
At
least every other one. Yeah.
Well, I have no idea what that will mean, but I'll watch that movie no matter what, because that's who I am. All right, I got one for you guys. Hundreds of Beavers.
This is a family channel.
You know? Yep. And this is actually a completely family safe movie. So I watched this movie a couple of days ago, and I am utterly and totally obsessed with it now. I went so far as to watch this movie, and then I immediately watched another movie that this same director and writer team did, called The Lake Michigan Monster. And basically, it's super low budget. Lake Michigan Monster was apparently a $7,000 budget. The Hundreds of Beavers was a few $100,000. It looks like a hybrid live action Looney Tunes. Hundreds of Beavers has no dialogue. It's the story of a fur trapper and sort of like his misadventures through the Wisconsin woods. But the animals are all like mascot costumes, like this beaver thing that you see on the screen. It's kind of the greatest thing I've seen in months. It's paced.
God, I love these shirts, man.
It's paced so fast. We don't see any shirts that you're seeing.
I know. I'm loading it for you. Look at this damn shirt.
It's cute.
We got to up our merch game, but
oh, for sure.
This is a great shirt. It's iconic.
It is. It's an excellent design.
Like they probably could sell this shirt to every school that has a beaver mascot.
Well,
it's such a good shirt.
I'm definitely going to be. Kat's not listening, but I'm definitely going to be ordering some merch from this store because she told me when that movie was done, we have to figure out ways of giving these people more money. Like,
oh my God, Beaver Law.
You're either going to hate this movie in 30 seconds or you're going to just be enchanted and charmed. It's so low budget and just like made out of love.
There's a beaver judge, a beaver prosecutor.
Beaver, Sherlock, and Holmes.
Beaver lawyers.
They follow
Beaver, Sherlock Holmes.
They follow. Well, those are characters in the movie. They like follow around. So Lake Michigan Monster is easier to watch in terms of it being like. So the thing about Hundreds of Beavers is that it's paced like TikTok speed, but Looney Tunes style, but with live action. And the thing I've been trying to figure out a way to describe that I don't know how to do it is, you know, Roger Rabbit is very much let's put a cartoon character or cartoon characters into live action, and Into the Spider-Verse is like, what can we put into our movie that still counts as animation but is still live action? This is kind of like a third bucket where sometimes it's just live action and then other times it's like hybrid animation, and like the characters are constantly interacting with like really cheap animated props and stuff. It's really cool.
That is cool.
And then the Lake Michigan Monster is less, that's a little bit more narrative. People are talking, like there's a story that they're telling that's like, you know, it's much more easy to follow. what's going on, because if you miss a few seconds, well, I guess if you miss a few seconds in Beavers, it doesn't really matter, because for the most part, it's like a poem almost with like a thin plot. But Lake Michigan Monster is pretty understandable. It's pretty dang charming. The dialogue is so silly. The delivery is so silly. The framing of the shots, the camera work, the staging. This stuff is bonkers and done for no money. And I just can't recommend it high enough. And Christopher's noting that it's showing in Beavers. Beavers is showing in theaters. It's actually showing in a local theater here too. It's also available on digital. But top marks if you like weird, silly, like it's really silly, and you might hate it in 5 minutes and have to nope out. I totally would get that.
Okay.
So the solar storms were also knocking out GPSs, and so like John Deere like put out a warning and was telling people that they gotta like chill out with their tractors, because apparently all the solar flares were making their tractors drive wonky.
Yeah. Wow. Here's a stock footage of a man with a John Deere tractor.
Oh, look at that man. He's definitely on a tractor.
True. True dat.
It's just weird to me to think about how the flares were impacting things. I saw a bunch of screenshots of Starlink bandwidth performance when it was at its peak, and they were saying that the Starlink performance was down to like 10 to 20% of its normal capacity.
Yeah, things are very slow and screwed up here.
Let's see. The next one that I have on the list, this one's yours, Rob. The Hertz charged. Go ahead.
So this had been going on since last week. This guy rented a Tesla, turned it in, and then he got a bill for like $270 for gassing up the Tesla. He didn't fill it up when he left it. So he's like, what the hell? And they're like, nope. All last week, they're like, no, you owe us that money. Read your contract.
But how?
And it made enough noise and enough rounds that today there was an update that Hertz said they would be reaching out to him with their customer satisfaction team to give him a refund.
Not only that, but they better give him like free rentals for a year or something for just being dicks. Like, how does that not get to a human? And a human looks at that for 1 second and says, oh, this is clearly wrong. The problem with this is this guy was probably required to use one of their like customer service chat bots, you know, where they only give you like 3 choices. I had to return something to Amazon a while ago, and the interface would only let me respond to multiple choice questions, and the package like never got here, and all of the questions were like about how I'm gonna return the package, and I'm like, there's no package, I never got this, but you're only giving me multiple choice. Can I please talk to a freaking human for 2 seconds?
I've run into that trouble recently with the state of Michigan. I've been trying to contact the Treasury Department, and they have they have an email you can write, but they can't give you any information. You have to call them. And when you call them, you go through this prompt. It takes like 3 or 4 minutes to get to the right thing. And then it says, thank you for calling. Goodbye. And they hang up on you. It's been happening for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up, and I sent an email about it, and they're like, oh yeah, the line's really, really busy. So you just have to try some other time.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to give you money. I'm trying to give you money, and you're like, nah, we can't talk to you. Also,
thank you, goodbye.
They don't think I'm alive.
So, well, that's a real problem.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you turn out to be alive, they have to send someone out to kill you.
Yeah,
that's just I don't make the rules. Thank you, goodbye.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, while I might
says you're dead,
while I might technically be alive, I'm not sure that I'm really living.
Well, more importantly, it's so much work to switch you back to alive. You're better off just killing you.
Oh, Like I
Yeah,
should just like turn it off and start over
No,
again.
yeah. I mean,
We're joking, but I'm
maybe you
serious.
could immigrate into the
I'm
country again or
serious.
something.
I'm showing up dead in the database they use.
That's terrible.
That's amazing.
Dude.
I know.
That's
So-
such a bad thing.
They think I'm my dad and that I died 20
Oh my
years ago or
God.
whatever.
And you're like,
Wow.
well, then can I have all my taxes back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to
You know,
get
you're gonna have to go to what's the capital of
Lansing.
Michigan? Lansing. You're gonna have to go to Lansing.
And then you have to wrestle the
the-
Lake Michigan monster.
Yeah.
the IRS believes that I'm alive now. So I've cleared it up with them.
Oh, the federal.
The state of Michigan is still like, no, dude, our database says you died
Sorry, dude.
20 years ago.
Dicks.
I'm like, cool. So I don't owe you taxes? Anyway.
That'll be fine.
Yep.
It'll be fine.
Sure.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll sort that all out. You know what's funny is that like over the years, we've seen stories many times about people showing up dead in systems. Like that's not actually an unusual event. But now it's you.
This showed up when I had to handle my mom's estate after she passed.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through it took like a month for them to realize that I'm Robert Jr., not Robert Sr. And because I was in the lobby, I wasn't dead. I wasn't like that guy in Brazil who the lady brought to try to fill out the this is not a weekend at Bernie's.
I'm sorry, Mr. Buttle. You're gonna have to die.
Yeah.
Because of this typo. Yeah.
So, but every other time it's popped up, it's been easy to rectify,
Relatively. You know, the death and
As
all.
you do.
Rectify your death.
And there's no, phone prompt for if we think you're dead,
If
but
we
you're not,
think you're
press 4.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Press 1 for alive. Press 2 for dead. Press 3 for we think you're dead,
Unknown.
but you're alive.
Yeah.
It happens often enough. There's probably a department. you know, the Department of Aliving.
Yep.
You know,
Aliving, right?
The Department
not
of
unaliving like the kids say nowadays.
This is like a sequence in Brazil.
It is.
Mhm.
Or
How do we know? How do we know you're truly alive, Mr. Roseboom?
I mean, how does anyone know they're truly alive?
Would you like me to take a personality test? If
I think you have
right,
to demonstrate homeostasis.
I'm an INFP. Does that?
I'm sorry, if you truly were an introvert, then you wouldn't have come here.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate introversion but death? You know, I'm just saying.
Right. Yep, you're definitely dead.
You should try harder.
Maybe I've just attained my true form, like a Pokemon that's evolved.
Oh yeah, you've just evolved into your.
I've just evolved into a non-entity.
We're all just here on our way to death anyway, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're just getting there ahead of time. You know?
Yeah, I jumped the line. That's all.
You
jump the line.
No cutsies, man. Not cool. Not cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so media Godzilla times Kong is awesome. Hundreds of Beavers is awesome. Is anything else?
I've been watching Extraordinary with Christine. It's been good, although I hated the last episode I watched.
I need to watch that. I saw that was out, and I know you like
it's the she's a terrible person episode, and you're like, is anyone really this terrible? Really? You know?
We've been watching Clarkson's Farm. That's been,
and it turns out there is somebody that terrible. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that he's either changed his mind on some stuff or claims that some of his stuff was he was exaggerating it for comedic effect, because he actually in one episode kind of implied that he believes in climate change. Which I was like, that's not like a Jeremy Clarkson sort of sentiment. Jeremy
Clarkson. He's probably still doing a bit, you know.
You take on a job where climate and weather matter, and you're like, holy shit, you know.
Right.
I feel like that show is watching someone who's old get different ideas about things. That's one of the things I like best about it.
When presented with the facts.
Well, and it's funny because Caleb is young, and in a lot of ways, Caleb is also being presented with new ideas But he's like got the inherited old ideas. And Clarkson has the I earned my ideas by being old. Super boomer.
When I was your age, we didn't have that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff. Let's see. I watched a couple of other random movies this weekend, but I don't think anything that was really worth writing home about.
Talking on the podcast about.
Yeah, right. I watched The Deer Hunter, which I'd never seen.
From the 70s?
Really?
Yeah, I'd never seen it.
Okay.
Which was
Just want to play my game.
just want to play, man. What was weird is that I knew what it was about, but I'd never actually seen it. And so I've seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And you know the episode, I don't know if you watched that show, but there's an episode where there's a Vietnamese Russian roulette thing going on under the bar with Frank in charge. And like, I didn't realize that was just like, that whole sequence was just a straight up deer hunter thing. So that was really funny. I also watched Love Lies Bleeding, which it's fine, but it's like a 80s lesbian love story with a weightlifter girl who gets roid rage and steroids and things all get terrible.
Whoa.
It's got one really cool scene, one really cool shot in the middle, but the movie isn't really all that. I watched some other stuff that isn't even worth bringing up. Oh, do we have a hard stop, gents?
I think we do.
Yeah, I got to go in a few minutes.
All righty then. Let us say goodbye to the internet. Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye, Internet.
Chris DeBona.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh, and I even forgot to mention that I got a new keyboard. It's so chonky. That's why I named the episode Chonky. This was episode 838 of Geeks in Space. I was Rob Commander Taco Malda, and maybe I'll play my keyboard for you next time. Bye.